family's main expense is food, and a feast is provided each day for the helpers. Pigs are the principal meat for ceremonial occasions. The Balinese meat mincer prepares pork for one of the island delicacies. Mixed with coconut, lemon and herbs, it will be skewered on a slither of bamboo to become one of the varieties of satay. Traditionally, men do most of the cooking for communal feasts, as the women are kept constantly busy making offerings for the gods. The gods consume only the essence, and man can eat their material leftovers. The angenan represents the astral being, with a rice-filled coconut for the heart, twined threads for the mind, and an eggshell lamp symbolizing the soul. It will later be placed in the cremation bull to be released by fire. Some of the food will be sent far and wide across the island to invite special guests to the cremation. The Balinese consider a written invitation cold and impersonal. A verbal message is more intimate. It is accompanied by a gift of food. This invitation goes to the palace of Ubud, to Chokorda Agung Sukawati, Lempad's prince and patron. The bearers pass through the gate that Lempad helped build so many years ago. Chokorda Agung Sukawati was largely responsible for establishing Ubud as the center of Balinese art in the 1930s. Within 2 months, he too will be dead. The 1940s brought the Second World War to Bali. Fulfilling the ancient prophecy of a Javanese sage, the yellow monkey came from the east and put the white ox in a cage. The image of Western man's invincibility was demolished. The Japanese promised friendship and liberation, but the Indonesians were soon to discover that one master had simply been replaced by another. Eventually, the tides of war were to turn, and in 1945, an Allied force landed on the very same beach where the Dutch had arrived in 1906. The Japanese offered no resistance. The victory, however, was to be short-lived. As a parting gesture, before abandoning the archipelago, the Japanese declared Indonesia a new and independent nation. The young nationalist Sukarno was sworn in. Merdeka, freedom. The populace was jubilant. But the Dutch were not. For 4 years, a savage war of independence raged. During 10 years of chaos, Lempad had retreated into a meditative, almost catatonic state, and produced no works of art. He was later to explain that the disarray of the world obliged him to turn inwards in search of personal serenity. Friends and family were convinced that he would soon die. They little realized that, approaching the age of 90, he was about to embark on an artistic renaissance. In 1949, the Dutch departed. Independence was confirmed, and peace returned to Bali. After his release from internment, the Prince of Ubud gave thanks to the gods for bringing an end to the troubled times. He commissioned Lempad to build a water temple to Dewi Saraswati, goddess of wisdom, knowledge, and the arts.
Sampun harus punika, no? Sampun mangke rawering napa sampun sami nikin ke para
Made Samung discusses its building with Jokor de Gede Siasa, soon to take on his uncle's role as the leading prince of Ubud.
Betul.
Banyak rakyat dulu ya, penestanan,
Hundreds of artists came from far and wide to work under Lempad's supervision.
Negari, Kutri,
nah itu patung itu.
Itu
kan patung itu.
patung.
Itu merupakan suatu simbol daripada
Jero Gede Machaling, the demon of the sea, guards the south. Lempad carved him with his own hands.
Patung ini yang besar nih,
Sekarang kita tuh beralih
ke sana ke Padmasana.
Jadi Padmasana itu adalah merupakan simbol.
The Padmasana, like the holy mountain, stands to the northeast. It represents the universe, resting on the back of a mythological turtle. This is entwined by two serpents, whose energies bind the universe. Ascending the mountain, we pass through the world of man to the realm of the gods. At the peak is Sangyang Widiwasa, of whom all the lower gods are manifestations. He is the Godhead, the unknowable. It is appropriate that Lempad's most monumental work should be his homage to the goddess of wisdom and the arts. His paintings and drawings developed a new and refined style. Here the great god Shiva tests his wife by sending her to earth to get milk from a virgin cow. Disguising himself as a handsome cowherd, Shiva offers to provide it for her if she will mate with him. Determined to fulfill her task, she agrees, but suddenly distressed by her unfaithfulness, she pulls free and Shiva's sperm falls to the ground, from which grows the demonic and destructive Vatara Kala. The three-petaled symbol on one fang indicates his semi-divine status. The Western visitor, on the other, is Lempad's ironical addition to the legend. Vatara Kala is the lord of catastrophe. In 1963, just as the 100-year ceremony was starting at the Mother Temple, high on the slopes of the Great Mountain, the volcano erupted for the first time in recorded history. Hundreds were killed and thousands died in the famines that followed the rain of volcanic ash. Indonesians believed that this was an omen of the bloody fall of Sukarno 2 years later and the rise of a new political order under the leadership of General Suharto. Lempad had journeyed through the most traumatic century of Balinese history, from the age of omnipotent princes to that of astronauts. The high priest transforms pure spring water into holy water, the most important element in all Balinese ritual. he chants mantras, sealing their power with ritual gestures of the hands. They guide Lempad's spirit in the annihilation of the hells in his being and point out the path to the 7 heavens. A priest puppeteer assists, providing entertainment for the gods. No screen divides us from the world of ancestors, just a thread tied between 2 branches of the ever-sprouting dadap tree. Gusti Biang, Lempad's eldest child, wafts incense and the essence of prayer over his body. His family and friends receive the blessing of holy water from the village priest. A platform piled high with the symbols from the material world is the nucleus of the crowd. Animals, plants, farming implements, and carving tools are all represented. The pole is a symbol of the astral being. It is linked by a red umbilical cord to the young soul, cradled like a baby. They circle the platform of the material world, which is about to be destroyed, so as to sever them from this world.